Good morning, ClubSport. So we moved over into another room because I think I'd like to talk a little bit more about self-care while we do yoga. And the idea or the theme of the class is the solar plexus. That's the area between your belly button and your sternum, this whole area here. And it tends to be the area where we carry a lot of emotion. So just bring your hands there and start to massage through. Coincidentally, it also is where our breath, the muscle that helps with breath, kind of has to move through. So go to your belly button, slightly above, and think of the breath, but also radiating from this area out energy, emotional energy. So change the cross of your legs. Bring your hands. So I have a blanket. So how I set myself up, I have a blanket. I would suggest that if you can at your house, and I know some of us have to like pick ourselves up, put it away, then bring it back, and that's totally fine. But if you can have a little blanket with you and 2 blocks, that's helpful. From here, have the blocks by your hands. And you're going to move now side to side through that solar plexus area. Feel your shoulders go side to side. So I'm going to feel this in my outer low back. So as you move side to side, inhale and exhale, I think I'm going to start to wake up this area of the solar plexus, and maybe exhale, get anything out of that area that may be kind of stuck. So we've made it through to 2021. Then bring your hands on your knees. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, back. Inhale forward. Exhale, back. So some of us are very highly sensitive people. So this kind of yoga might speak to you, where we emanate. Understand that we emanate from a deeper place, from that deeper space within us, that when we've got so much stress going on, we've got so many things going on, we lose that connection. So when you set up your space at home to have a blanket, maybe some candles, maybe pictures or something around you, it actually creates the space, if you're sensitive, that will help you draw more inward and feel what's going on inside you. The challenging and that part of us that feels good, both really important. Cross over your ankles, and from there, go to cat-cow. Oops. Few cat-cows. So I'm following whatever happens, so I don't know, we hope we'll keep the music going, but if not, we don't. So moving through, feel your belly button lift and drop. Today we'll be doing lots of twists. Moving through our nervous system, house of the spine, as well as through our digestive system, our belly. We've done it before. We've done this before, like move through some of these poses, but it's what's happening in the mind that actually changes the effect of the pose. So for 2021, we can think of self-care, and then emanating from unconditional love. The music just went off. That's okay. Think of unconditional love. So sometimes they talk about unconditional love for others, but we have to have unconditional love for ourselves. And then from here, go ahead, come back into a squat. You have your blanket theoretically right there. And begin to deepen your hip creases. Bring your hands together in front of your heart, lift your chest. And think self-love, self-care. In order to have our lives be full, we need to have both. From there now, walking your arms out. I'm going to go to the side. You can stay where you are and take yourself into downward dog. So as you move into downward dog, just pedal your legs and start to create sensitivity in the heels. So even if your heels don't touch the ground, think of spreading your heels. And for me, if I feel like I'm focusing on my heels, it kind of takes me through my torso a little bit more sensitizing in my, above my navel center. Think of that space in the heels, making that connection. And then walk your legs forward. Exhale, forward fold. So in our sun salutations today, think of doing these from a place of self-love and self-care. Let your arms move wide. Inhale, come all the way to stand. Hands down in front of your heart. And as your hands come down in front of your heart, think of lifting your belly button up to meet your heart. Shoulder blades down. Again, self-care, self-love. Inhale, self-care. Exhale, forward fold, self-love. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hands come down, top of the push-up. Think of the love that you have for others and see if you feel like you could translate that into love for yourself. And everybody reset down dog. As I elongate my belly, I notice that my chest needs to move wide. So think of your hands on the mat and think of tearing the mat apart. So right hand moving to the right, left hand moving to the left. It'll soften your chest. Look forward, walk forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, self-love, come all the way up. Exhale, self-care. Inhale, flat back, self-love. Exhale, hands come down, self-care. Inhale, self-love. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down dog. Two more breaths. And then walk your legs forward. So if it bugs you not to have music, you can put a little music on at home. For whatever reason, the class is going in the direction of no music today, that's fine. Press down through your legs. Inhale, self-care. Exhale, self-love. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, make your way top of the push-up. The last one. Elongate your body. Bend your elbows. Lift your chest. And down dog. Again, think your right hand moving to the right, left hand moving to the left. Think of that broadening your chest. Think of your sit bones lifting up and back, and think of your heels. And see if you can connect your heels to your solar plexus, right above your belly button. Draw a line in your mind's eye. And then slowly coming down. Just a few sun salutations to think of going through and creating your circulation a little bit stronger and spreading through the nervous system. So for today, it's most important that you find that inner soft gaze. So self-love comes from acceptance. So if there's something that you can't do, it doesn't really matter. I used to think if I could do like some crazy yoga pose, it would change me in a way that I would be like, but it doesn't. So don't create injuries. This is just you and self-love. Just exploring what's happening in your body. So I'm going to go to the side. From here, take your right knee forward and spread your feet wide. Then as you drop back, you can take a block underneath if you can't sit all the way down. If you have knee problems, you're like, whoa, that's just not going to happen for me. You're going to come down, cross, and then just lay back there. This is just exploring the outer hip joints, the outer glutes. So I have my right knee on top. And then again, as you're here, flex your ankles and think, inhale, self-love. Exhale, self-care. Inhale, self-care. Exhale, self-love. So just that mantra alone will start to change and shift the physiology of your body, and will start to change that gaze so it's more soft and inwardly focused. So from here, take your left arm around, left hand can be on your knee, right hand behind you, going into our first twist. And as you do this, think of twisting from the top of the belly button, and the rest will be shorter. Let's inhale, exhale, unwind, and then change it to the opposite direction. Inhale, and exhale. Now twisting usually from the bottom of your belly button, or underneath the belly button, you'll feel it, but think of lifting the belly button up and twisting the contents above your belly button around. And then come around center. And then you can stay there, or maybe take your fingers and knit them inside each of the toes and give that a little bit of circulation. And then moving forward, you can rest your head on your block. So the yoga poses are there to help excavate around, see what's going on in the body, any potential challenges that might be cropping up, and also to amplify the physiology, amplify the muscles, the everything that has to do with being embodied. But then if we use a mantra, or if we use a focus, we can use it to help soothe our minds. Self-care. Exhale there. Next inhale coming up. Come forward and take yourself into downward dog. So as you move into downward dog, you might notice one side feels slightly different than the other. Again, right hand moving to the right, left hand moving to the left, spread your chest. Then as you move back, think of your belly button, the top of your belly button going in one direction towards your heart, and your heels going down. Slowly come down onto your knees. And then from there, you'll take your left knee forward, spread your feet wide, have your block handy, and then sit back. So what happens in this solar plexus area, if we hold on to a lot of stuff or things happen and we don't have a chance to process it, it starts to emanate out around us. So as you're here, you can knit your fingers in if that feels appropriate. Just kind of give that a little twist, rounding the toes. Think of exhaling and any undigested emotions or thoughts, you know. Some of us have been through some pretty tough times. Some of us are in some pretty tough times. And then from there, taking yourself into your twist. Think of your pelvis, kind of anchoring down, and think of from above your belly button, lift that up and twist that around. Flex your ankles. So 2021. So Mad Max, you know the movie Mad Max? Yeah. So I think the second movie is in 2021. So think about what was happening. They They'd lost their houses, they'd lost everything, and they were looking for homes. But for me, I think this is my home, inside my body, and I can always find home. I gotta go back to my yoga, I've gotta go back to my breath, I gotta go back to my mantras, and self-care. Exhale, inhale, and then exhale around to the second side. Think of the warrior inside you, how it needs to be taken care of, replenished, needs to have somebody rooting for it, like, I care about you, I know you've been through a lot. And then come around center, and come forward. So for me, I need to come pretty high. This is my hip on this side, it's like really tight. And if it doesn't feel appropriate to do that at all, remember you're laying on your back, you've got your knees crossed over each other, and you're just stretching your outer hips. That's totally fine. Inhale, self-care. Exhale, self-love. Two more breaths. Inhale, self-care. Exhale, self-love. Inhale, self-care. Exhale, self-love. And then slowly coming in. Crossing it forward, moving the blocks out. Take yourself into downward dog. Each time we create more space in our body, it's going to speak to our nervous system, it's going to speak to our psyche, letting us know all is okay to be here for right now. So just all we have is right now, and we're here, and we're breathing, and we have that ability to practice being in our space, in our home, in our bodies. And then slowly come down. So going upside down is really important for your digestive system. I would suggest, I will demonstrate, we've done, like I said, we've done all these poses many, many times, but it's the emphasis with which you bring to the yoga pose, or anything, you know, you can make dinner, be all irritated and make your dinner, it's like, oh, there you go. Or you could have some focus, it's like, I'm good, this is love, this is caring, this is me being creative. So it's all about the emphasis that you bring to whatever you do. That's what we're working on. So from here, press down through your feet, lift your bum up, and one block can be underneath. Now this is a great place to stay. Just be there for now. Think of the bottom tips of the shoulder blades moving towards your waistline. And for me, every day, so if you have a yoga practice, every day you might notice subtle differences. If you don't notice subtle differences, maybe back off and slow down, because the magic happens in noticing the subtleness. That's where the magic of yoga happens. It's not in doing the pose, it's not in, moving from pose to pose. That's interesting, but the magic really happens when you feel what's happening in each breath. I feel my breath, my belly kind of relax down. I feel my solar plexus soften. And it just feels good. And then I remember I can self-soothe. Great place to stay here. If it feels appropriate, you can hold on to your block, take your legs straight up. If you're like, I'd like to be a little bit higher, so how would you know? You would know because you can keep your legs straight up, they're not going to pike over towards your head. So I'm going to lift up onto 2 blocks, have them flat, and they'll spread through my chest more, and they'll create a little bit more space between my belly button and my sternum. The solar plexus area starts to get a little bit more space. and that's a great place to stay. A couple different poses to do here. I would suggest that you play with the first one. So you can just go back, and you might be here, you're like, oh, that feels chill in my back. Come down. Go back onto the other block. Go to the place that it feels good. And then maybe straighten your legs. Giving more space in the solar plexus. Feel this area that emanates out emotion around you. People feel your emotion. People feel what's happening. More importantly, you feel. And then if you're so inclined, you would take your legs straight up. Once I do that, I've kind of inverted my the contents of my pelvis, turned it upside down a little bit, but I'm going to keep spreading through. So I don't want to just cram my solar plexus at that point. I actually want to keep that lifted and spread. Think of your body as a way to experience emotions. And if you're a really sensitive person, you understand that you go up and down and up and down and up and down. I used to think it once I started doing yoga 25 years ago, that I would just be like level. I wouldn't have any ups and downs, and that's not true. So highly sensitive people have ups and downs. So as you're here, think of clearing out your solar plexus and have self-love downs. Take 2 more breaths. Inhale, self-care. Exhale, self-love. Inhale, self-care. Exhale, self-love. Bend your knees, taking your feet down. To come out of this, don't roll to the side. You're going to push down through your feet, lift up off the blocks. Let your feet go wide, and let your knees just knock in and just kind of give a little bit of a movement in your low back. And then roll to your right side and come up. So we're going to create more space in your solar plexus from the thoracic spine now. So again, thinking of this area here as a place that you're creating space for yourself, your space for to process life. And I think this area here, I'm going to let it kind of spread wide a little bit, but mostly lengthen. You can let your knees knock together, feet wide. As you hear, think of emanating out emotions to the people around you. So as our emotions, which go, for me, go up and down, depending on what's happening. And then as I process those emotions, they really do help you have more self-love. I worry a lot less at 65 about what people think, that I still do worry about it, but than I did at 45. And I don't think that would happen if I hadn't gone through some really tough times. If it feels appropriate, you can straighten your legs. Remember the space between your belly button and your heart. Staying there. So unconditional love for yourself will enhance your life in a way that you have to talk about freedom. You will have so much freedom. You will feel less encroached by what people think, and you'll feel much more happy and joyful to be present. When you're ready, you can stay there for Shavasana, or you can come all the way onto your back. Wish I had music, but it's not working. So however you set yourself up, just find a place where you can start to watch the thoughts as they come and they go. Sorry, it's just really not working. So as you watch the thoughts come and go, hopefully you've got some music that you like at your house that you can use here. So as you're laying there, wherever you happen to be in Shavasana, you can watch your breath come and go. And then maybe you go into the subtlety, because life really does happen in the subtlety of things that happen. The big things, yeah, those are really, really important, and they definitely color our lives. But the subtleness of life is where the joy is. And the very, very subtle, like, wow, I didn't see that sky before, but look at it, like that. So as you lay still, first, notice the breath as it comes and goes, don't control it. And then notice the subtlety of thoughts as they start to drift across your screen. And rather than pulling away from it, just let them be there and notice how one comes, and then another one comes, and they just drift across your screen. They're not good or bad, don't judge them, think self-love. What would self-love do if it saw these thoughts coming across? Just be like, oh, there's a thought. And then turn your gaze towards self-love and self-caring. And see if you can have that on the screen coming across in a way that it starts to become a bigger letters or a larger, louder sound. And start to deepen your breath. Just stay laying on your back. So in Mad Max, one of the things that they were, the themes is that they use their body as machinery. So if you really think about these bodies, these homes that we encapsulate, that we take with us everywhere, we have to stay connected and understand that the strength of that machinery relies on our sensitivity to the subtleness, the little tiny things that happen throughout the day. So as you're in the day, notice what your breath is doing. Notice, where you're walking on your feet. Notice if your head is way forward. All these little subtle things. And as you do that, then that really helps practice so that the small things that happen, the subtle things in life that we can actually find joy in, starts to be more at the forefront of what we notice, rather than the exterior of what's happening around us, which sometimes is very off-putting. When you're ready, start to pull your knees in. Roll to one side. Make your way to seated. And think of one thing you can do for yourself today that will help you feel self-love. Might be take a bath. It might be, make a really good cup of tea. Whatever you do, it's not what you do, it's the attention that you bring to what you do that will bring the joy out in it. Draw your hands together in front of your heart. And lifting your heart to center your chin. Bowing to your own strength, your own warrior, your own goddess. Namaste.